How you doing? Tony Alarcon here, Primary Therapist at Evolutions Treatment Center. Today I want to talk about the concept of creative recovery. I'm not sure if it's a thing. If not, we're going to make it a thing. Creative recovery, very often I hear clients talk about the step work, the 12 steps, the big book, abstinence, one day at a time. I hear a lot of traditional ways of doing things, and I think it's fantastic and it's amazing. And I mean, you can't argue with the record and history. There's testimony, and it 100% works. But I challenge my clients to go a little beyond that. The way I see it, if you can take the 12 steps and make that your first step, and go ahead and run through the whole thing, can you identify another 11 things, philosophies, means, ways, strategies, modalities, interventions, things that you can utilize in your life creatively that are particular to you that can also support your recovery? For instance, spirituality when it comes to which type of a church we go to, for fellowship. For instance, self-care habits such as, for some people, maybe we don't like the gym. Maybe some people don't like yoga, but can you come up with something that you're passionate about that also has the residual effect of offering self-care benefits? Surfing, basketball, tennis, dancing, salsa. I mean, you name it. It's countless the various different things that can be utilized. I found that a lot of times when it comes to recovery, so many times we try to come to a different answer. We ask the same question and we hope there'll be a different answer. If I had a quarter for every time a client said to me, I've been through this, I've done this, I've tried it, I've tried to do this, I've tried to do it so many times, something's missing. Why doesn't it work? How can I stay clean? How can I make this work for me? I challenge you to ask a different question. Rather than changing your questions around and finding ways to somehow come to a different answer, rather than posing the same questions and hoping that a different therapist will give you a different answer, or a different person in recovery will give you a different answer, or somehow at a meeting you're going to hear a different answer. Try accepting the fact that you're very smart and you've always known what the answer is. That's why you're in treatment. That's why you're in recovery. That's why you strive for abstinence. We've already known that the answer is not to pick up and not to use. Where we should be challenging ourselves is to come with creative questions, ways to arrive, ways to pose the question differently, arriving at the same answer. Knowing that if the answer is any different, you have obviously asked the wrong question. Can you find different modalities and different philosophies that lead you to the same place, to the right answer? For instance, basketball. For me, when I go play basketball, the furthest thing from my mind is using. It is the furthest thing from my mind, because I realize that I have to compete at a high enough level to win, or at least to be competitive. These things work for me. Surfing works. Why? I'm out there in the water. There is no phone. There is just me and nature. There is a oneness about it. There is a meditative state about it. Spirituality, church, getting in touch and communicating with our higher power. It works. It is something that has never once told me, go pick up, go get high. Never once. These are all different forms, different avenues to arrive at the same answer. I cannot pick up. I think far too many times we rely on tradition to get us through it. And very often it's not enough. And the smarter we are, I think, the more of a responsibility we have to be creative and customize our recovery. The smarter we are, sometimes the easier it is for us to trick ourselves out of recovery and negotiate our way into somehow thinking, well, now that I've been clean for 2 months, I've broken the cycle. And we all got these crazy concepts. Oh, if you do something for 21 days, it's become a habit. Or if you stop doing something for 10 days, somehow you've broken the habit, you've broken the cycle. Pardon my French, but that's a crock. Nothing could be further from the truth. You reinforce habitual things by turning it into a lifestyle. What is a lifestyle? It's a style of life that you live for the rest of your life. part of it is finding ways to get there. I use the analogy of, in some ways, it's kind of like, for those of you who have dogs or cats, and if they've ever had ringworm or they've ever had heartworms, they've ever had some kind of disease that required a medication, you can't just put 2 pills and a glass of water in front of a dog and expect him to take the pills and drink the water. Won't happen. You got to kind of put those pills in a hot dog or in peanut butter or something so that the dog will actually be convinced to take something that's for his own good anyway. With our recovery, sometimes we got to be that way as well. We got to find ways to trick ourselves, our genius minds, into being at the right place for the right reasons, regardless of what's going to take place. I find so many times that people are reluctant to go to meetings because they think, well, then I'm going to have to sit there for an hour and listen to other people, and I can't relate, and I get bored, and I have to work, and I get tired. The fact of the matter is, if you would simplify the gig and realize you don't have to sit at the meeting for an hour per se, what you have to do is get your butt into that seat for the first minute. If you can get your butt into that seat, the commitment has been made. The hour will fly by. You will get the gains. You don't have to call your sponsor to speak to your sponsor for an hour. You need to press send on your phone. Once that sponsor is on the phone, then you can play it by ear. Most of life and most of self-care and most lifestyle things, the hard part is not doing the activity. It's rather getting to the location where the activity is being had. The problem is not working out at the gym for an hour. The problem is getting your shorts on and getting your butt through the gym doors. Once you're in there, you're going to do as Romans. And as addicts, we are doers. We are doers. We are not sit-arounders. We are doers. Anywhere we go, we're getting things done. This is the reality of it. If we go to a library, we're looking for books. If we go to church, we're getting our worship on. If we go into a gym or into a CrossFit class, we're going to do the class. If we go to a restaurant, we're going to eat. If we go to work, we're getting the job done, unfortunately. If we go to the dope hole, we're getting high. If we go to the bar, we're getting drunk. We are doers, so it's very important that we pay special attention to the locations where we find ourselves at, and that we make special appointments to get our butts into that seat. Once your butt is in the seat, the hardest part is done. The rest of it is just go on down the slide. Gravity will take care of the rest. But get your butt into the seat. Get creative with your recovery. Find ways to put your recovery in places that you love. That way you have more than one reason to go there. Find meetings where the people that go to the meeting are perhaps within your age group, share similar interests, live near your area. There are a lot of things that go into recovery, but the responsibility to get creative with it and to make it work for you is up to you. We spend all this time when we're buying a new car. We want the color to be right. Either we want leather seats, or we want automatic windows, we want power steering, we want this size engine, we want flex fuel, we need fuel economy, we want a sunroof, we don't want a sunroof, etc., etc. Your recovery should be treated quite the same, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to have to navigate it and sit in that seat. Customize it to work for you. This is a lifestyle change. On that note, I've got my own creative recovery, which means I am on my way to CrossFit, and I do not want to miss it for the world. This is one of the things that helps me handle my self-care and gives me the energy to move on through all the other aspects of my recovery. I will leave you with that, and I will talk to you during the next video consultation. Have a good one.